The Barrow-Downs beyond the forest were known even in the Shire. The green mounds, stone rings, and the hollow places beneath. And only whispers did the Hobbits speak of more. Of the clink of rings on cold fingers and gold chains on the wind. The tales were true. In the green hills beyond the old forest, the ancient dead walked. As the fog closes in around them, the unknowing hobbits are beset by the Barrow-Wights. Twisted spirits filled with an unceasing hatred of the living, animated by an even darker will. They dream only of seizing the living and dragging them down to the hollow places beneath the earth, there to rest eternally in a deathless slumber. Assaulted by fog and fell beings, the hobbits must fight their way to safety and continue their quest to Bree. But even amongst the cold mist and terror, perhaps there is an unlikely ally to whom they can call for help.
Hello and welcome to Mission 6 of our Quest of the Ringbearer campaign, or possibly 5, depends whether we count Gandalf and Saruman. So hello and welcome to Mission 5 of our Quest of the Ringbearer campaign. I'm Julian.
And I'm Boris.
And welcome to Striding Edge Games. Let's go. Where are we, Boris?
In the Barrow-Downs. It's very exciting. This is probably the mission I've been most excited for since... I mean, there's some other obvious big ones, but like of the early missions, since we decided to do it, this is probably one of my favourites.
It's very nice thematic. I mean, obviously, scene that's not in the movies, but is a classic. Some of my favourite Tolkien writing actually is when he describes the barrows and the clinking of rings on cold dead hands.
Yeah. And has, unless he doesn't turn up, one of the best Tolkien characters. He might not turn up.
Certainly the most inscrutable. Yes.
We possibly have a Bombadil on the...
We might have a Bombadil. Rarely seen in Middle-earth circles, generally banned from tournaments because he's basically just a troll character.
It's kind of obscene, but he's fun.
But yeah, he could turn up and banish some Barrow-Wights. So should we go over it?
Yeah, all right. So the mission is effectively the Hobbits start in this 12-inch block, and I have deployed. I'm playing the good side for this sort of group of missions. They've gone straight in the middle. We could try and play a little bit tricksy and deploy near a barrow, try and spot them early. But I think I fancy just pegging it for the eastern board edge and just try and get out of there. Objectives-wise, that's all the good side have to do is get 3. Hobbits off the eastern board edge, one of which has to be Frodo.
Yep.
Evil side, I believe your objectives are sacrificing.
Yeah, you've got to take out a number of hobbits. I think it's if you take out 2, then you win, or if you just take out Frodo, that's also a win.
Yeah, automatic.
Just to sort of, obviously we've got the forces of the 4 hobbits.
Yep.
The chance of a Tom Bombadil turning up, and a slimmer chance of a Goldberry also turning up. And the evil side, you just have 4 Barrow-Wights. These are standard Barrow-Wights as from the Angmar rules.
But I'd pitch 4 Barrow-Wights against 4 Hobbits, I'd say.
Probably, yes.
There are some interesting special rules. So we have the fog on the Barrow-Downs, aptly names. So to start with, there's a lot of fog. The Hobbits have got lost. And every turn, you can only see 6 inches. So Hobbits can only see 6 inches. And you roll a d6 per Hobbit. And on a 2-up, you can move normally. On a 1, the evil player moves the Hobbit.
It's essentially the ring rules.
Sort of, yeah.
But you can't. But they cannot be used to charge.
Right.
And you can use might to influence the roll if you wanted to.
So Merry and Pippin are a bit stuck.
Merry and Pippin are just going to die.
We might be getting some falls of a took quite early this game, who knows?
Yeah, to counteract the fog, there is also the Ho Tom Bombadil special rule.
Hey ho, Mary Doll.
Hey ho, Mary Doll. Basically, if a Hobbit has seen a ring wraith, it's not very clear if this is from whence they've seen a ring wraith, because a ring wraith... A Barrow-Wight, sorry.
It gave me a scare there. I was like, oh no, I have to fight wraiths as well.
Yeah. So if the Hobbit in the move phase, if they've seen a Barrow-Wight, It's not very clear. I mean, maybe in the move phase, if they'd previously seen a Barrow-Wight and the Barrow-Wight moved out of the way. I don't know.
I think it's just if they're within 6 of one that turn.
Yeah, they can call for Tom Bombadil, and you roll a d6 on a 5-up. Tom Bombadil turns up. But
thanks to some clever footwork in the last mission, the Old Forest, that is now a 4-up, thanks to the scenario, the campaign bonus. So that flicks to a 4-up. So as soon as we see a Barrow-Wight, presumably we do, we'll get to...
You've got a 50-50 chance.
50-50 chance that he then turns up the next turn. And he's quite good. I mean, he's very good, but he's pretty good against spirits in general, because he has a banishment spell, I think.
Specifically, yeah.
He can regenerate the Hobbits' stats and stuff, which is pretty great. I think he can unparalyze them as well.
Yeah.
So he's kind of an exact tonic to the nastiness of the Barrow-Wights, but he is difficult. So I guess it will be from your point of view when you choose to reveal yourself, because you have to come within 6 inches. So when you want to spring the trap, as it were, up against the timeline of me, the deadline of me heading towards that board edge.
Yeah.
So bit of push and pull.
And I mean, once Bombadil's turned up, you then subsequently keep rolling a dice. On a 6, you might get Goldberry as well.
Yep.
Which would be good. But also, when he turns up, the fog on the Barrow-Downs rule is removed. The fog is blown away by Bombadil's, loud song or what have you. As incredibly yellow hat or boots, yellow boots.
Yellow boots. Yeah.
And like some of the other Ringbearer missions, this is not one which follows the normal wounding rules. A Hobbit that loses their last wound is treated as if they have been paralysed. So similar to the trees.
Yep, but you also just have paralyse on all of the...
Yes, Barrow-Wights have magic. They get to throw out some paralyzers. And also the Barrow-Wights, the way that they can win is if they successfully paralyse a Hobbit, they can drag it back to their barrow.
At full speed, I believe. Which is pretty scary.
Yes, which is quite swift. I think the good players, you can try and recover even whilst you're being dragged.
Something along those lines.
But anyway, so they place them, they get them to the barrow, and then they attempt to sacrifice them. So apparently there's a 50-50 chance of that happening. They roll a d6, and on a 4-up, you've been sacrificed.
And that's it, you're out of the game.
You're out of the game.
And that only has to happen twice.
Twice for an evil victory.
Evil victory, or once if it's Frodo. I guess you'd have to tell me, but my thoughts would be Merry and Pippin are awfully tempting targets because they have 0 additional will.
No fate, no will.
No might, so, the easy, and only 1 wound, slim pickings.
1 fate, no might.
1 fate, no might, no will, 1 wound, easy pickings rather. Whereas Frodo and Sam have 2 wounds, some fates, and both some will, and pretty high courage. So it's actually a bit of a negative in this game, I would say. You've got Blades of the Dead rule, which is normally fantastic because you've got your strength 3 and you strike against enemies courage rather than defense.
Yeah.
But in this, my lowest defense is 4 for Merry and Pippin and 6, I believe, for Frodo and Sam. Pretty high.
I believe your lowest defense is 3, in fact.
Lowest courage. Is 4,
yeah.
I think. However, you do cause terror. So it's going to be a real push and pull. I think you've got a lot of bonuses. You also get a bonus point of will to cast with when you're within 3 inches of barrow.
Yep.
It's pretty great. So you could sort of stand back and just sling spells at the scampering hobbits, see if you can bring them down. But then the hobbits have the resistant to magic rule, so we'll always be throwing a dice against the spells. So
yeah.
Who knows? On that note, predictions. Do you have any thoughts on how this is going to go?
If Bombadil turns up early, he's pretty good.
He's a bit like a wraith, though, so he has a lot of will, but he disappears when they're on 0.
You can burn through it. I mean,
he can burn through it quite quickly and then just scamper
and
off.
he himself can't actually necessarily, he doesn't win. He will win a fight, but he doesn't make strikes.
No.
So if the Barrow-Wights can just sort of keep engaging him, and it's
tag 1 on to Bombadil, and then the rest bringing down some hobbits.
Do whatever. Yeah.
But then if the hobbits bring a couple down quick, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because obviously the previous missions, Ring Race, you're really up against the sort of deadline of you've got 7 will, and every combat, every spell brings you closer to disappearing. In this, if you hit, you got 5 will, I believe, and if you hit 0, that's fine. Still carry on. You stick around. You can even cast more spells when you're back near the barrows. So I can't rely on sort of waiting you out like we did with the Ring Wraiths, where the hobbits can sort of just, as long as they survive a turn of combat, at least you're ticking a Ring Wraith down towards banishment. This I've actually got to get off. the board.
So with that, maybe we'll get to it and see.
Yes.
We'll give you an overview of what the board looks like, point out our barrows, and we're very excited about this because it's just such a nice thematic mission with some sort of real classic style.
Can you hear him coming? Can you hear Tom Bombadil coming? He's a coming. I think, anyway. This is where he's not going to turn up at all.
He's going to bust through.
Let's go into the overview and then turn 1 of Fog on the Barrow-Downs. Start of turn 1 of Fog on the Barrow-Downs. We are right in the middle here with all 4 hobbits. They need to make it off towards the eastern board edge over there, and we have 1, 2, 3, and the 4th Barrow-Wight completely surrounding us. All we can do is march straight forward. So we're going to roll 1 at a time, see if the hobbits are overcome by the fog or able to work their way through. So we'll start with Sam. 6, he's fine. And Sam ends up there. We have Pippin next. Yep, on a 5. And ends up sprinting ahead there. Then we have Merry. Okay, Merry rolls a 1. So he is lost in the fog and the evil player gets to move him. Merry gets lost and starts wandering towards the barrow in this sort of westerly direction, which isn't great. And lastly, Frodo rolls a 2. Okay, so he moves as well. After the movement, that's how we've ended up. Merry is about-faced and gone all the way the opposite direction. I could have sent Frodo to escort him and split into 2 groups of 2 hobbits, but to be honest, Frodo is the one who needs protection, so he needs Sam and Pippin with him. If that means Merry wanders off on his own, he's a brave brandybuck. Hopefully he'll be all right.
On the evil movement, our Barrow-Wights are moving in on the centre at this end where the hobbits are trying to get off the board. They're going to try and sort of prevent them from moving off. And at the back, we've got one that's moved in, it's full distance towards Merry. And this last Barrow-Wight is going to take advantage of the rules, which means it can pop into magic range, cast a paralyze, and then back off, hopefully meaning that there may not be a Bombadil called in the next turn. So, paralyze for the ring wraiths is cast on a 4-up, and it has a 6-inch range. I think I'm going to put 2 will points into this because we want this to happen.
All right.
So let's go.
Gets
We've got it on a 5-up.
Hobbit single resistant to magic dice. Come on, Merry. Oh, not on a 2. So Merry is paralysed.
That's a great result for the Barrow-Wights. We'll move on to the end phase now, where Merry does have a chance to resist and wake up.
Yeah, straight away on a big 6 for Merry. Come on. Yeah, that's bravest companion straight away, I think. He just shrugs off the paralyze.
Yeah, that's a nice result. Into the priority roll for the next turn. I'll start with the evil side. They're doing a 3.
Okay, and good. Can we claim priority?
You get the 1.
Ooh, okay. Have to have a think here.
Right, straight into the evil movement. First up, the Barrow-Wight that was closest to Merry is charging straight in. He's going to stop and cast Paralyze just before he reaches him. We're just going to put 2 will points into this. We're still looking for that 4-up. Oh, we get it on a 6.
Big
Merry's
6.
got to resist.
Come on, Merry. Single resistant to magic. Oh, so close on a 5, but not enough. So Merry is paralysed again.
He is paralysed. So for the rest, the other Barrow-Wights, one has moved in towards Merry. Should the Hobbits decide to turn around, they will probably spot the Barrow-Wights in this turn, which could mean that we have a Tom Bombadil turning up, which would kind of ruin things for us. Up at the east edge of the board, the other Barrow-Wights, they're moved in, but they're remaining cagey. They're going to be out of Hobbit sight if the Hobbits move up. So we'll see what's going to happen on the good movement phase.
Continuing on, the group of 3 hobbits, not really realising their friend's been paralysed, knocked to the ground and about to be stabbed to death by a Barrow-Wight, continue their advance. So we have Pippin, 4, he's all good. Bit of a debate, but Pippin has backtracked around the stone circle and just brought himself to within 6 inches of that Barrow-Wight that is attacking his friend Merry. We could have charged straight onwards into the eastern board edge, but I think we probably would have been out of reach of help for ages, and then Frodo, Sam and Pippin would have been jumped by 2 more wraiths. Having ended within 6 inches of a Barrow-Wight, Pippin spies them, so he may call for Tom Bombadil. 5-up roll increased to a 4-up thanks to the campaign bonus. Single roll, here we go. Ho, ho, ho. So that is a 4-up. Bombadil arrives next turn. Continuing on, we have Sam. Yep, he makes it with the fog. Hedging our bet slightly, Sam has gone a bit diagonal just to cover his friend Frodo. And then we have Frodo's roll for the fog. A 2, luckily he makes it as well. And there we are, the fog is clearing, but the 3 hobbits are still lost in the mist for a little while, and we have a turn of Merry having to survive paralysed against a Barrow Wraith. Last thing to do in turn 2 is see if Merry can once again recover from paralysis and stop himself being dragged back to a barrow. 6 needed. Oh, a 2, no, so he is not looking long for this world perhaps. Into turn 3, priority roll. Let's see what the hobbits can get. A 3, and the evil side, a 1. Okay, reversal of fortunes this time, so we have Hobbit moves first. And at the start of turn 3, Tom Bombadil hears the hobbit's cry and arrives. The fog then lifts. In the rest of the Hobbit move phase, we've just moved the 3 hobbits up closer to kind of take cover next to the stone circle. We're backtracking a little bit and not heading towards the eastern board edge, but over in the distance there, Tom Bombadil is arriving, and they're going to see if they can be a bit closer to help out their friend Merry. They're going to try and fight it out rather than just dash to the board edge. Whether or not that is a sensible option, we have 2 more Wights over here in cover, but we'll see.
Barrow-Wight movement. One of the Barrow-Wights has moved closer. He's going to cast onto Pippin in a second, whilst the 2 that were at the point of the Hobbit escape, they've also moved in close. One of them is in range of Sam, also to cast some magic. For speed, we're going to do them all at once. And the final Barrow-Wight is retreating back to his barrow with his prey. Merry's going to get sacrificed to whatever it is Barrow-Wights believe in. All right, let's start with the magic. Against Pippin, we're going to go with 2 dice again, because it worked well last time. We're looking for a 4-up on the paralyze. Nothing there, that's a shame. So that's 2 will for no result. The second Barrow-Wight is going to cast on Sam. Sam's got some will, so I think we're just going to go with 1 here and sap it out of him. And it's cast on a 4.
Okay, I think I will put a point of will on this along with the resistant to magic. So 2 dice needing a 4. Okay, get it on a 5, but none back, unfortunately, but stay unparalysed for another turn.
That's maybe a result.
At the end of the turn, all we have left to do is see if Merry can overcome the effects of his paralysis. He is, however, on his own, so it's a single d6. Oh, close, so close, but not on a 5. So unfortunately, he's still paralysed and very close to that barrow. Could be bad news. Go straight on to priority. Good roll. A 1, that's not good. And a 6 from Evil, so it looks like Evil will be moving first.
Barrow-Wight movement. All of the Barrow-Wights have closed in. One's retreated back to the barrow. The other 3, one's not in charge range, but will be casting magic in a second. And the 2 others are going to charge, but are going to cast a paralyze before they get in. Starting with the Wight on your left, he's only got 3 points of will remaining, but he's going to put a paralyze onto Frodo, I think. Single dice. Okay. We're looking for a 4-up. No, nothing there, that's a shame. The Wight on the left completes his charge into both Pippin and Frodo. The one on the right of the camera is charging into Sam, but first he's also going to try and cast on Pippin, I think. He's going to put 2 dice on this one, looking for a 4-up. That's a snake eyes, so nothing there. He completes his charge into Sam. The last Wight is going to put 3 dice, and he's going to cast Paralyze on Sam.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking for a 4-up here. Oh, we get a 5, so Sam's got to resist.
5, okay. We have a resistant to magic, and I think we will spend the last point of will as well that he has in reserve. So separate, just in case he gets back. The resistant to magic dice, a 2, no. And then the will point, this would be great if it's a 6. Another 2. He doesn't have any might to bump those up, or not enough rather. So Sam is paralysed.
Finally, the last Barrow Wight has dragged Merry into contact with the Barrow, and it will get an opportunity to try and sacrifice him at the next turn, assuming Merry doesn't wake up.
In the good movement phase, Tom Bombadil continues his move out of the Old Forest. Unfortunately, he's a little while away from help. Merry is maybe 1 turn away from being within spell range, and the same with the other 3 hobbits over here. It's a question next turn about whether or not, or which group we go and save. However, we have some combats with Sam, Pippin and Frodo having to try and survive an onslaught against 3 Barrow-Wights.
Straight into the combat phase here. Because Sam is paralysed, he's going to automatically lose his dual roll, and he's also prone, which means he's trapped. So the Barrow-Wight versus him is going to get 2 strikes, but because of the Barrow-Wight Blades of the Dead rule, it means that they're striking against their foe's courage instead of their defense, which in this case is kind of annoying because Sam's got pretty high courage. Strength 3 against courage 6 is 6s. So 2 dice, let's see what we get. Nothing, no roll there. Next, we have the single Barrow-Wight versus Pippin and Frodo. Pippin or Frodo, would you like to lead the way?
Yeah, we decided not to call any heroics with Frodo. I think we're okay for now. Okay, it's rolling separately because there's some might behind Frodo. So Pippin rolls a 3 and Frodo rolls a 3 as well. Barrow-Wights want to attack back.
All right, it's an important roll, this one. Let's go better.
Oh, out the tray.
Out the tray. Let's try a different one.
Getting exciting.
Oh, it's a 3, so it's a tie.
It's a dice off. Do we want to spend a point of might to survive? No, I'll let that go to a roll off. It's risky, but we'll see what happens. With priority after you, sir.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, evil. 4, 5, 6, good.
Here we go.
Oh, it's evil.
Okay, so Frodo and Pippin back away.
Next up, we will strike against Pippin, I think.
Okay.
It's a slightly better chance here. It's 5s instead of 6s. So let's go.
Oh, big 6. All right. Pippin has a single fate point to try and resist this. Yes, Pippin. Okay.
Ooh.
Loses his fate though, so he is down to 0 fate. End of the turn, and we have 2 pretty key rolls here. Paralysed. We have a paralysed Merry and a paralysed Sam. So start with Merry. Can he get himself back up? Ah, so close. Okay, no, so he might be being sacrificed next turn. And then we have Mr. Samwise Gamgee on a 6. Oh no, about as far away as you can get. 1, so neither of them unparalyzed themselves, and we're on to the next turn. Last thing to do, forgetting myself, on a natural 6, Goldberry also turns up. Oh, not on a 2, all right.
Straight onto the priority roll.
Yep, we'll go straight onto priority roll. So the good get a 6, not bad.
So it's good's priority, despite the double 6.
Double 6, but we have good moving first. Start of the turn, and we had a really tough decision. Should Bombadil move to the right over here to go and save poor sweet Merry, or attempt to save him? He wasn't in range of a refreshing song, so we couldn't, heal him up and get him back on his feet. And he could have moved and cast a banishment on this Barrow-Wight. All that would have done is take a wound off him, and the Barrow-Wight could have tried. Will still be able to attempt to sacrifice Merry anyway. So, and that would put him really out of position. He'd sort of be near the Barrow, and the Ringbearer and his other 2 companions in the middle here would continue to be outnumbered. So we've made the tough choice. Bombadil has marched forwards with his feathered hat, and he's going to cast banishment on 2 dice on the closest Barrow-Wight to him. Cast on a 3 up, so we get it on a 5. Will the Barrow-Wight attempt to resist, or is he going to let it go through?
I think in this instance, the Barrow-Wight's probably going to let that go through. We'd need to roll a 5 or a 6, and we've only got 2 points of will left.
Yeah.
And I want to maybe get a couple more paralyzers off, because that will help my map control.
Yeah, so that is a wound on that Barrow-Wight, which is fantastic news. And then we're going to try and tie up the Barrow-Wights over here to stop them dragging poor Sam off. So Pippin is going to try and charge the Barrow-Wight that Sam is currently in base with. He needs a 6. Oh, just. So Pippin's done well there. And we'll move him and see where everything else ends up. And Pippin ends up there, just tagging the back of the Barrow-Wight, which means he immediately drops Sam, which is useful for us. Frodo's going to try and carry on as well, and he's going to try and charge this Barrow-Wight. So the only one left to carry Sam is this one at the back, who is furthest from Sam. So we need a test on a 6 for Frodo, and he gets it on a 10 happily. So Frodo also charges and ends up in combat like that. Who knows if it's sensible throwing the Ringbearer into combat, but we'll see. Also debated putting the ring on in this scenario, but it really wouldn't do too much. The Barrow-Wights have a courage of 6, so they'd likely pass the check to charge the invisible Ringbearer, and the drop of the fight value is situational, but we're already tied, so yeah, I didn't think it was worth the risk of, on a 1 or 2, losing control of my Ringbearer and having him sent off to be surrounded and stabbed to death. So we'll go into the Barrow-Wights movement and see what they can do in return.
For the Barrow-Wight movement, the 2 that have been charged, they're not going to get to move this turn, so they'll just be in combat fighting Pippin and Frodo, which it might not be terrible, don't know, let's find out. The other Barrow-Wight in that little trio has swooped in and grabbed Sam and is just running back to a Barrow. He's trying to keep himself out of Bombadil's charge range and hopefully out of Pippin's charge range, but to make sure, he's also going to throw a paralysed Pippin's way. He's just got the 1 dice to do it on though, so he's also only got 1 wound, so it might leave him a little bit vulnerable, but we'll see what happens. So single dice, we're looking for a 4 up here. No, and it's classically a 2, so nothing there. Last thing to do is the Barrow-Wight with Merry next to the Barrow is going to try and sacrifice Merry. This will happen on a 4 up, and if he succeeds, he can then act normally. And oh,
poor Merry.
Merry's just been murked. It's a 4 up, so Merry is sacrificed. He's removed from the board and entombed inside a Barrow.
And that Barrow-Wight can now act normally.
All right, and the Barrow-Wight has moved out within 3 of the Barrow, so he can still get that 3 point of will if needed, but he's not in casting range of anything useful. Bombadil's immune to magic.
Into the fight phase, we have 2 Hobbits. We have Frodo and Pippin. Doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. We'll go with Pippin first versus a Barrow-Wight who has has no fate, so it's just a 1-on-1. Pippin rolls 3, could be better. 6, yeah. So he loses, backs away. And it is a 5 to wound him on his courage value. Oh, Pippin, what are you doing, man? So he goes down, he is paralysed. Next up, we have Frodo against the Barrow-Wight, 1-on-1 again. So Frodo gets a big 6. Barrow-Wight gets a 2, so Frodo wins. And we need, with strength 2, we need 6s by 4s. No, not on a 4. And the combats are over.
All right, finally, we realised, strictly speaking, the Barrow-Wight technically is still in base contact with Sam in combat, and he's paralysed, so automatically wins the duel. We rolled the 2 dice, but we were still looking for 6s, so nothing there. Yep. Finally, we're going to have the rolls to see whether Pippin or Sam recover from paralyse, and then Goldberry might come.
Yeah, so we need a lot of 6s here would be ideal. So Pippin, no, doesn't get up. Sam. Oh, yes, Sam. That is why he's the true champion. Gets back up. And does Goldberry turn up? No, not on a 2. And that's the end of the turn. It's looking very close still. We're down a Hobbit. Merry has been sacrificed. Sam and Pippin are both down, prone, but Sam has managed to wake up from paralysis. Frodo is all on his lonesome, but we do have Tom Bombadil on the table. So let's go into a priority roll. Pretty key one again. Good, get a 3, evil a 2. So good at moving first. That might be what we need. Start of the movement, and Tom Bombadil has raced in using his mighty 6-inch move. We're going to cast another banishment on the wraith to his right, so left of the screen, that is in base contact with Sam, as he's already wounded. We're going to see if we can banish that wight and then free up Sam to go and tag some other wights. So we'll see what happens. 2 dice we're going to cast on we're going to throw 2 dice at it, needing a 3. Oh, only gets a 3, so that's not too impressive. It is cast, but the Barrow-Wight has a single point of will left.
Yeah, I'm going to try and resist this. I feel it's worthwhile.
Oh, gets it on a 3, so that is resisted. He is alive for this turn.
But no will left.
Next in the move phase, Frodo moved round and charged the Barrow-Wight that was closest to Pippin, just trying to stop him picking up his friend. Thanks to being within 3 inches of Tom Bombadil, he now doesn't need to pass terror checks to charge the wraiths, or the wights rather. So that was passed automatically. We also just tagged into base-to-base combat contact with Bombadil in case he somehow gets paralysed later in the turn. Next we have Sam. Unfortunately, he is just out of range of the bubble that Bombadil provides, so he's going to try and get up and charge the Barrow-Wight that is in base contact with him and combat him. He's only on 1 wound, so we might be able to get rid of 1. He needs to pass a courage check on a courage 6. Yeah, passes it comfortably, rolling a 7, so he gets into combat.
Okay, for the Barrow-Wight movements, the unengaged Barrow-Wight near Frodo has charged in. The Barrow-Wight has picked up Pippin and charged off towards his barrow. As he's moving, he's going to throw a paralyze at Sam. I think we're going to be looking at 2 dice here, looking for a 4-up, so we'll roll that. Oh, we cast it on a 4. Sam does get a resist though.
Okay, he's got 1 point of will left. I think he really needs to stay in this, so we're going to throw a 3 point at it. Start with no, and then a will point. Yeah, on a 4. So he does resist, but he is now out of will.
Alright, and then the other Barrow-Wight has moved closer. He can't charge Sam, but he's got 1 point of will left, and he's going to also throw the paralyze at Sam's way. So single dice, we're looking for a 4-up. Oh, get it on the 6.
Get it on the 6, okay. Can the Hobbit's resistance to magic save him? I need a 6 here. Oh, gets it on, doesn't get it on a 4. So Sam goes down paralysed, having just got up. After that fairly significant turn of magic, we have 1 combat with Frodo against a single wight. I don't think Frodo's going to risk doing any special strikes, so we'll just single dice. 4, not too bad. 6. Oh, I could burn both points of might to try and win that combat, but I don't think it's worth it. So
we'll just tie.
You'll just tie, good point. So we'll just let it go through.
And the wight strikes, he's looking for 6s. Nothing there. Next up, we've got the combat that was going to be between a standing up Sam, but is now a prone and paralysed Sam. So he's trapped. 2 dice. Oh, we get a 6. You can spend a fate point?
I think we got to try just to see if we can stay or keep the wounds. Yeah, resists it. So Sam's still on 2 wounds. Another pretty significant turn. We've got 2 hobbits down and only a single one left standing. Trying to resist some paralyzers. So Pippin on a 6. No, rolls a 3. Sam rolls a 2. Oh. Let's see, finally, does Goldberry arrive to follow on her husband? Yes, that is a big 6. Okay, that could be a game changer. Straight into priority rolls for the next turn. Good, get a 3. And we'll get a 6. Okay, we have to decide if we want to do any heroics. Start of the turn, and a really tough choice, but we have decided to call a heroic move with Frodo. So he has spent a point of might, and he's down to 1. Reason we did it was because if the wights got to move first, this wight carrying Pippin would get to move at full speed towards the barrow, and then when Tom subsequently moved, he would be out of casting range to try and stop this Barrow-Wight. So what we're going to do is instead, it does leave these 2 Barrow-Wights to take Sam off to this barrow, but Goldberry has entered the board over in this side, so she is sort of guarding this side of the board. She doesn't have banishment like Tom does, but she does have a refreshing song, so she could wake Sam up and stop him being sacrificed. So, with all that being said, Frodo finished his move, or started his move rather, by charging the Barrow-Wight to tie him up. He's probably still within charge range, but we'll just have to hope he can survive on his own, using Tom's ability to not take a terror check to charge that Barrow-Wight. So we'll go on to magic, and Tom's going to cast a spell. Moving on to the magic at the end of Tom's move, bit of another big debate. Should we cast a banishment on the Barrow-Wight? Could do a wound, but then he'd just be able to run off with Pippin and be 6 inches closer to that barrow. So what we're actually going to do is cast Refreshing Song on Pippin. He would still be, or he will still be prone and will be charged by the Wight, but at least he has a chance to survive the combat and can't be dragged any further this turn. It's silly, but I'm going to roll 2 dice on it, even though it casts on a 2-up, just because I don't want that 1 here. So casting 2 dice on Refreshing Song, yeah, 6 and a 5, so definitely cast, and Pippin is back unparalysed and has a fate point.
Okay, for the evil Barrow-Wight's turn. The Barrow-Wights that had Sam in their clutches have split up. One is crossing behind Frodo and heading for the barrow that's further away from Goldberry, because she might mess up the Barrow-Wight's nefarious plans. Whilst the other one has joined his compatriot in fighting Frodo. Maybe with 2 Barrow-Wights against the 1 plucky hobbit, we might have a chance here. Finally, the Barrow-Wight who's just had Pippin woken up in his grasp is going to actually charge him again, but just beforehand he's going to stop. He's going to throw a paralyze Pippin's way. Going to put it on a single dice. We're looking for a 4 up here, and let's roll. Nothing. So he'll continue charging on into Pippin, stops him getting up and means he'll be prone for the fight. Into the combat phase, we're going to start with Pippin, who's recently proned, waking up from a paralysis, lying down on the floor, Barrow-Wight is like looming over him, about to stab down.
Can he survive? I believe in the Tooks, you know. Well,
I believe in Peregrine Took.
Let's see. So he gets a single dice. 4, okay, it's not bad.
That's a 4 high, so the Barrow-Wight rolls a 1. So Pippin wins. He doesn't get to make any strikes because he's prone, but he will stand back up.
That is fantastic news.
All right, now we have the better fight. Frodo versus 2 Barrow-Wights. The Barrow-Wights I'll lead off.
Yeah, let's see if he can hold his own.
Oh, a 3 high, that's not great.
Not great. Frodo's attack. 1. Okay, that is not good. So Frodo loses that, but backs away.
All right, the Wights now, they're still looking for 6s against Frodo's superior courage. And don't make that.
Not a double 2. And that is the end of the turn. The only thing left to do is see if Sam recovers from his paralysis on a 6. Samwise Gamgee, he is loving it. We'll go straight into priority then and see what we get. 6 for good.
Oh, so it's good priority.
And evil, yeah, 2 6s in a row. That's exactly what we need. Let's see what we do. Start of good move, and we have backpedaled as fast as we can. Pippin has got up and run as far away from that Wight that was carrying him, just towards the centre. We're going to kind of castle up. Tom has also moved in. Halfway through his movement, he's stopped and he's going to cast Banishment on the Barrow-Wight that is next to Sam on a single dice. He's going to target him, and then he's going to continue his move into combat with the other 2 Wights. So we're going to just throw a single dice at it. 3 up, gets it on a 6. There is no will left on that Barrow-Wight, so that Barrow-Wight is banished. And completing his move there, locking those 2 Barrow-Wights in combat. And that's where we are at the end of the movement. Sam got up and just moved 2 inches to reunite with Master Frodo. And Frodo just moved back and stood next to Sam. So we're close and we can charge some Barrow-Wights next turn if we want to. But for now, we're safe from the combat at least. Last to do, this Barrow-Wight on the edge who had rudely had his prize of Pippin stolen away from him gets to move and perhaps cast.
For the evil move, the lone Barrow-Wight's charged back into Pippin. He's not going to be thwarted from his prize. Otherwise, there's nothing else. No magic. And we're straight into, well, the combat between Bombadil and the two Barrow-Wights is automatically won by Bombadil, but he makes no strikes, and his opponents have to back away.
So backs away, and Bombadil is down to 7 will now. He's been burning through the magic quite hard, so he's kind of half health, as it were, and we've still got 3 wights on the board. Then we have the continued grudge match of a Wight versus Pippin. Let's see, Pippin rolls a 4.
He's rolling pretty well. Let's see what the Wight does. Oh, it's a 2.
Okay, can Pippin strike back? He needs a 6 by 4. No, rolls a 3, but he does knock the Wraith away.
Now, following that highly inconclusive combat, we're straight back into the priority roll. Evil's going to lead off. Oh, we got a 4 high.
4, good. 5.
Ooh, so it's good priority.
Into the movement phase. We're maybe being a little bit cocky, but let's go for the kill. The 3 hobbits have decided to take matters into their own hands, and all 3 being within the bubble of Bombadil to charge terrifying foes without taking a check. We're able to charge and trap this Barrow-Wight. So if they can get the combat off, they will be able to make a bunch of strikes. We'll see if we can take a wound off him. Bombadil then moved in and tagged this Barrow-Wight, so he isn't able to cast magic or reinforce. We do have this one at the back who is chasing Pippin. He'll probably be able to get into combat if he wants to or cast some spells, but hopefully we'll still be able to keep the trap on and win the combat. Ringbearer is moved up. She's almost in range, but she's not ready yet to assist with any refreshing songs. So we have the single evil movement.
After that sneaky manoeuvre by the good side, I don't have much choice, but this lone Barrow-Wight is going to charge into Pippin. He's going to put 1 dice onto a paralyze, so let's just hope it goes off. Oh, it does on a 6. Oh, that's good.
All right, single resistance to magic. Come on, Pippin. Oh, not on a 3, so he is paralyzed.
Having talked it over, we're not 100% sure whether the Barrow-Wight can actually disengage Pippin from this combat. Unfortunately, it seems like it's possible that you can't. So we're going to play that Pippin can't be taken out of this.
Can't be dragged out of combat because there's a combat ongoing, but he is paralysed and therefore can't take any part of it. And now Frodo has been tagged out of the combat. So real good play by the evil side there.
Barrow-Wight's down to 1 will though, and we've got some combats coming up. With the remaining movement that Barrow-Wight had, he's just charged into Frodo and we'll go straight on. Which combat would you like to start with?
Well, Sam may as well call a free heroic, just in case he somehow manages to kill someone. I doubt it.
We'll do 2 wounds.
Sam starts with the heroic combat, and to help his master Frodo, we are going to stab, and we have a 1-on-1 dice off. 5's pretty good. Yeah, there we go. We've got the 5, beats a 4. The Barrow-Wight is still trapped. Strength 2 against defense 7. 6s by 4s. Can we get a double 6 here?
Ooh, we get
1, but not enough to slay him. But 1, followed by 4.
Ooh.
There we go. Sam does a wound to that Barrow-Wight. That is well worth it. He doesn't slay him, so the heroic combat doesn't go off, but I'll happily settle for that. Next up, Bombadil fights his Barrow-Wight and wins automatically, ticking down to 6 will remaining, and the Barrow-Wight falls back. Lastly, we have Frodo versus a Barrow-Wight. We'll stab as well, just for the hell of it. Single dice. Oh no, 1 from Frodo and a 1 from the Barrow-Wight. Okay, it's a dice off. It's good priority, so 4 up is what we want. Come on. There we go, it's a 6. So Frodo wins his combat by the skin of his teeth. Stabbing, needing 6s by 4s. Rerolling 1s though. No, it gets a 2, so that is unfortunate. But we've wounded a Wight and able to survive another round. That's excellent. End of the turn, and we have Pippin paralysed. See if he can get up again. No, not on a 4, so he is still. Straight into priority for the next turn. Good. Get a 6. Evil. A 1. Wow, that's a good roll, so straight onto good priority. Start of the turn, and we have Goldberry running up. She is going to cast Refreshing Song on a single dice on Pippin, who's just within range. 2 up, gets it on a 2, just. So Pippin is able to activate carry on, and then she just finishes her turn by making contact with that Barrow-Wight and locking him in combat. Next on the moves, the 3 hobbits completely encirclement on the wounded Barrow-Wight, hoping they can get a lucky wound again. Bombadil moves in to lock up the last remaining Barrow-Wight, and on the way in he's going to single dice banishment, see if he can knock another wound off him. This will tick him down to 4 will remaining, so we're getting dangerously low on will on Bombadil, but let's see what we can do. So 3 up, yep, gets it on a 5. So does the Barrow-Wight want to resist on either of his 2 remaining will points?
It's a tricky choice. I think for this, the Barrow-Wight's going to keep those 2 will points, because if we get priority, we can maybe get a paralyze off. And Bombadil's not going to kill him this turn, so we'll take the wound for now.
Very good point. On to the combat, and we have 3 combats, but only 1 actually matters. Goldberry and Bombadil both win automatically, and the Barrow-Wights are pushed back. We have Sam, Frodo, and Pippin against a single Barrow-Wight, and at the start, Sam has called a heroic strength to see if he can pump his muscles to bring down this Barrow-Wight. So we're going to roll his D3. Oh, 2. Okay, so he goes up to a mighty strength 4. Could help. We'll go straight into the dual rolls. So do you want to set the bar, see what the hobbits have to beat?
All right, so the Barrow-Wight's rolling. Oh, 1.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Unless we get triple 1, we should be all right here. So this is Sam and Pippin with no might. Okay, no, and Frodo 2. So we win it on a 4, which is great news. Rolling separate, as we have a point of might on Frodo. So Pippin 6s, no. Frodo 6s. Okay, we got 1 6 and a mightable 5. Sam needs 6s, no, and we don't have any might. So Frodo needs a 4 followed from the 6. No, and we could might that 5 into a 6 to give us another chance. I think we're going to do it just because we're desperate to kill this one wraith. Another 4 up. Oh, Frodo. That is 6 wound rolls failed on that Barrow-Wight. End of the turn, and that was a little disappointing. We have done another wound over here from Bombadil, which is great, but it would have been amazing if those 3 hobbits could have killed that one remaining Barrow-Wight in the centre. However, we'll have to see what we can do. So, on to priority. We'll go with good first, and let's see what we roll. It is a 4, that's not bad.
And for the evil roll, we get a 4.
Okay, so it goes to evil.
For the evil Barrow-Wight's dastardly move, one of the Wights that was stuck in the middle, he's shuffled sideways. He's charging Sam, but he's still trapping Pippin in his attack. And the other 2 have gone into Pippin now. They'll be open to getting charged by Bombadil and Goldberry, but we know this is going to happen. And we'll see what the good movement is. But Pippin hopefully will get trapped, and maybe he'll get dragged down by the weight of Barrow-Wight attacks. Straight on to the good moves.
Really tricky turn. Evil again doing very well at tracking the hobbits into a rough position. I think what's going to happen is Bombadil is going to start off the good moves by casting banishment at the Barrow-Wight in combat with Sam. That will free up some hobbits to then move. He's only got 4 will remaining, but I think what we're going to do is throw 2 dice at this. It casts on a 3 up, so we're going to try and hope that it goes off. So casting roll, okay, there we go. Goes off on a 4. Good thing we did throw 2 dice at it. And that Barrow-Wight is banished with no will remaining. Banishing the Wight, Tom doesn't move any further. He just stays out of combat. We need to keep the will for further spell casting. Next to move, we have Goldberry. She's just going to put 1 dice, refreshing song, onto Sam because he's looking quite peaky. Yep, get it on a 4. So he is back to 1 might, 1 will, and 2 fate. And then Frodo and Sam both move, finishing like this. The ambushers become ambushed with Frodo and Sam jump onto a lone Barrow-Wight. We do still have some combats, could be a bit dicey, but let's see what we can do. Straight into combat, and we have a bit of a decision again. It would have been great to call a heroic strength with Sam on his newly refreshed point of might, but evil has priority, so then we would have played Pippin's combat first, freed up the Barrow-Wight and stopped him being trapped. So we're going to call heroic combat with Sam for free, because Frodo's in the combat as well. And we'll do this one first at strength 2, but hopefully trapping the Barrow-Wight, presuming we actually win. So after all that waffle, let's roll. See what you got to beat. Okay, we get a 6 on the Hobbits and a 4 on the Barrow-Wight. So we do win. Frodo needs 6s by 4s, so we'll roll these to start with. No, nothing from Frodo. And then we need Sam needs 6s by 4s with a point of might. Okay, I think we're going to spend a point of might to tick that to a 6. Then we need a 4. So Sam's out of might again. But can he do it? Put a wound. He can! Samwise Gamgee Gardener wounds the remaining unwounded Barrow-Wight. Into the Pippin on Barrow-Wight combat. We did realise that Pippin has been stabbing occasionally, and the Wight and the Hobbits are both fight 3, so it should be fainting. However, there hasn't been a single wound dealt or a single reroll from the stab, so hasn't amounted to anything. Alright, Pippin on a single Wight, 1-on-1. He gets a 2, it's not a good start, and a 5 from the Barrow-Wight. Okay, so Pippin backs away.
Alright, the Barrow-Wight's looking for a 5 here.
Oh, not on a
No.
4. Yep, straight into priority, good. A 4, not bad, and a 4, so it goes to...
Good.
Good. Start of the movement, and Tom Bombadil has moved just behind Sam there, so he's within 3 inches of all the Hobbits, so they can charge any Barrow-Wights without taking terror checks, and he's going to throw 1 of his remaining 2 will to try and banish the Wight in between the 3 Hobbits and show them how to get rid of a Barrow-Wight. Single dice, there we go. Rolled a 1, so nothing happens there, and he is down to 1 will remaining. That is really unlucky. Next, the 3 Hobbits, just using the Tom Bombadil anti-terror bubble, charge the Barrow-Wight. They're going to have another crack at killing that Barrow-Wight. Goldberry finally has moved around, and she is charging that final Barrow-Wight. She has 7 will remaining, so she'll have 6 after this combat, and she's going to throw 1 dice at a refreshing song onto Sam Gamgee to give him a point of might back. And we cast it on a 3, so he is back up to looking healthy. She finishes charging into the Barrow-Wight, and she will go down to 5 will remaining at the end of this combat, so she is on half health as it were.
Alright, with no movement for the Barrow-Wights, unfortunately, we're straight on to combat. The 1 versus Goldberry, obviously that's automatically over.
Yep.
Goldberry wins, but she's down the will, as we've said.
Yes.
But we do have a trap going on first.
Yeah, there's no need to call heroic combat with Sam, so instead we are going to call heroic strength with him. So again, spending his point of might. Let's roll the evil dice and see what we have to beat. Okay, a 3, not too bad. So Frodo and Pippin, they will both faint and get a 6. So we win the duel. So the Barrow-Wight is trapped. We need 6s by 4s by both Pippin and Frodo. Pippin.
Wow.
Double 6. Could Pippin be moving his way into Bravest Companion? We need a single 4. Wow, 2 wounds from Pippin. He could have slain him on his own.
It's unbelievable.
And Frodo and Sam's attacks are completely wasted. With the Barrow-Wight being banished and 1 left on the board, straight into priority. Good, get a 4 and 5 from evil. So it's their turn to go first. We have no might on the table, so it is your move.
All right. Seeing the fall of his fellows to the unknown powers of Goldberry and Tom Bombadil and apparently Pippin, the lone Barrow-Wight has basically taken for the hills. He's running back towards one of the barrows, hopefully to get some free will back in his stash, and we'll see who follows up.
Following up, the good side have just charged towards the fleeing Barrow-Wight. The 3 Hobbits are angry that their friend Merry has been sacrificed, and Tom and Goldberry have moved up. None are in charge range, but we do have some spells. Tom you're going to use his last point of will on a banishment and see if he can get rid of this pesky last Barrow-Wight on a single wound remaining. There we go. Tom gets a 6 on the cast, so 2 points of will to resist, or this Barrow-Wight is out of there. Oh, it's a valiant effort on a 5, but not enough. And the final Barrow-Wight is sent packing back to the void whence it came.
Wow. And that's that. It was a great game. I quite enjoyed playing it, despite losing. How do you feel, Boris?
That was excellent fun. I've been looking forward to this one, as I said in the intro, for ages. And honestly, behind the cameras, like every time we one of us did a move phase, the other one was like, "Oh man, that's brilliant. That's exactly what we should have done." There were so many times where you just sort of looking at it, going like, "Oh, what do I do?" Magic is variable. I think is a very good example from that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Barrow-Wights did pretty well on their magic, actually. I think they got quite a lot of the paralyzers off.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think there were very few that were actually resisted by the Hobbits.
Yeah, almost none, I don't think.
Almost nothing.
I think the Hobbits did exceptionally well at bouncing back up and rolling that 6 on the recovery in the end phase. Did exceptionally well. And Tom and Goldberry's magic was pretty solid, but, did choke a couple of times. But yeah, really fun. I again, it was one of those ones where it's a bit of a shame we set up the whole board and then almost all the action happened right in the middle. But
yeah, I mean, I tried to break it apart, but you just kept bringing them back.
Yeah,
I think it's the first time we played that where the Barrow-Wights have successfully sacrificed a Hobbit.
Yes, yeah, we played it once or twice before, quickly, once properly, and I think in other ones the Barrow-Wights just got bogged down in fighting in close combat super fast.
Yeah,
and nothing really happened. And then, but yeah, this one, you actually split. You had that 3 Hobbits going forward at the beginning, and Merry just got absolutely.
I mean, that was a lucky.
Yeah, it was lucky, but that was that's what did him in. He got lost in the fog and brought backwards, and I just couldn't. And then we had that horrible choice where Bombadil came on, and then I had to choose: do I go save Merry or all 3 other Hobbits? And I think in the end it was probably
I think it was the right
choice.
call, probably.
But it was a good, tough position to be put in. And the same Goldberry came on, and she was like, "Do I run to aid one person over here, or go over there?" Really close. I think, despite having both Tom and Goldberry, because I have seen missions where people play this mission and Goldberry doesn't turn up because it's a natural 6, which is tough to do. And actually, I think without her, it might have been down to the wire. We were saying, there was the turn where Frodo and Sam were fighting for their life in the middle. Pippin was being dragged off full speed to the other barrow in the sort of upper northeast corner, and Tom didn't have the capacity to chase after and get into combat, and it was just with Frodo's heroic move that Tom was able to springboard forward, cast out of priority order, and get Pippin back up to then run away, which was, huge. And then, Tom disappeared by the end.
Yep.
He came down to his, you think 15 will, awesome, I've got loads of magic casting ability, but you throw 2-3 dice at a spell continuously.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a lucky roll as well. I mean, getting the 6 on the final banishment, which is pretty wild. I mean, I think I really enjoyed that. I feel like the Ring Wraiths, I mean, the only thing I'd say, perhaps if you were playing it again, I don't know if there's something you could do where you try and sort of dance your Ring Wraiths in and out of range. Yeah,
we keep doing this.
We kept doing this. Sorry, with the Barrow-Wights, if you could dance them in and out of movement, because the rules specifically say kind of if a Hobbit sees a Barrow-Wight during their movement phase.
During their movement,
then they can call for Tom Bombadil. So there seems like there's space around that for the Ring Wraiths to kind of dash in,
if you're really
try to paralyse, and then back out.
But I think you could be really careful and do that, but then the Hobbits could just get quite far down the board, and then by the time you kind of close in for the trap, they're already quite close to the board edge, and then you only need to get 3 off.
Yeah,
you can leave one behind. It's difficult.
It's interesting. I mean, again, Bombadil and Goldberry, both super sort of powerful. I mean, it's kind of a weird way to describe them.
It's an amazing utility because the ability to just lock a Barrow-Wight in combat and say, I automatically win this.
Yeah.
I can nullify them for an entire turn whilst doing nothing. I have to spend a point of will, but for a point of will, I can nullify 1 or 2 Barrow-Wights completely, and then
which is great. But then at the same time, you're not actually doing anything to that Barrow-Wight. You're just holding it up.
But then sometimes that's what you need. You need the time
to
get people Hobbits back up, get things. But I think that was incredibly close. I think that was closer than. I mean, it's not really a result, but closer than the result says it was, to borrow a sports phrase. I think there was a turn where we had 2 or 3 Hobbits down, paralysed, and only Frodo and Tom up. Yeah. And if Frodo had gone down as well, I think Tom would have had his work cut out for him, or would have had to burn a lot more of his will quicker and then disappeared.
Yeah.
And the Hobbits really struggled. At Defence 7, and we saw, they trapped that one Barrow-Wight, and it took them 3 turns of trapping.
It wasn't until Pippin, apparently, who'd been sleeping the entire game,
turned up and was amazing.
Just was like, whoosh.
But yeah, I think that's an excellent scenario. I think some of the earlier ones, playing them, we're saying sort of playing them solo or as a one-off, could potentially be not that fun because they can be quite swingy, especially with the sentry rolls.
I feel the early scenarios, certainly, I mean, with the exception of Farmer Maggot,
excellent scenario.
Those first 2 ring wraith scenarios are really just kind of set up for it's Good's game to lose, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's to train you how to use hobbits, and it's thematic, and you get some nice sort of theme behind it. But if you were to pick a scenario out of the Quest of the Ringbearer book to play one with your friends on an evening, some of those early ones, the first couple, they're okay, but I think a bad sentry roll can just completely end the game, or one way or the other. This, I think, is really fun. I would really happily switch sides and play as the Barrow-Wights and see what I could do again, or just play the Hobbits again and see what happens. If Goldberry doesn't turn up, for example, you have to really marshal and ration Tom Bombadil's will. So,
and I mean, if the Hobbits hadn't won the Old Forest, Bombadil would only be turning up on a 5, which would make quite a drastic difference, really.
I think I rolled a 4 from memory for the roll for him to turn up, so that the Old Forest scenario literally brought him in a turn earlier.
At least a turn earlier.
But there we are. So that was excellent fun. I really enjoyed it. There is a rest point next. The book says it is the House of Tom Bombadil, but we think that's
clearly nonsense because they've already met Tom Bombadil.
They've gone from the House of Tom Bombadil.
In his house.
So we're calling the next rest point Bree, because they do have a nap and, some cheese and some ale.
It's the beer, I mean.
I think it's beer, yeah. Beer cures all in terms of might, will and fate. So we're calling the next rest point Bree. However, there is a rest point next. So poor Merry, who it was sacrificed, does recover. We will do a recovery roll, but there's no way he can die. And then he recovers full anyway because there's a rest point. But just out of interest, we'll roll Merry's recovery roll. So that's a 2. So even with the +1 from the scenario bonus from winning for good winning, he would be injured and not recover at all. So he would be on 0 fate next game, I believe. I think he might have lost a fate. Which, really interesting. Unfortunately, there is a rest point, so...
and also, equally unfortunately, I think it's pretty clear who the Fall of a Took was in this scenario.
Wandered off on the first turn.
Just immediately failed his fog roll and just was like, I'm going to go backwards.
And got punished for it. So Merry, Fall of a Took.
Yeah, but also I think we probably both agree, I mean, on the Bravest Companion, it was definitely Pippin.
Absolutely. He murdered a Barrow-Wight without needing... Sam called heroic strength, was like, I got this guy, bumps himself up. No, Pippin's like... stabs him in the back.
It's going to be like double 6s.
Double 6, caused 2 wounds.
Yeah, 4 and a 5.
Amazing stuff.
Pretty wild.
Got the double 6. So I think Bravest Companion for the second mission in a row.
I think so.
Is Pippin. And Fall of a Took, which we didn't have last game, but unfortunately Merry Addock, Brandybuck. So Fall of a Brandybuck this mission. Which is interesting, but as we say, we are now at a rest point, so everything's regenerated, which is great because I think even with the refreshing songs, the Fellowship are not looking great. Sam was on full will and fate by the end after having been refreshing songed loads, but he had burnt a lot of might. Frodo was out of most of the might. Pippin had a fate back, but that's only because he got refreshing songed, and Merry was out of fate.
Yeah.
So they were looking a bit peaky, but luckily there is a beer and a wedge of cheese in the next rest point. I think that's mostly it. As you guys might know, alluding to, we now have a town coming up in our campaign.
Yeah, it's
very exciting.
Sign of a prancing pony.
Yeah, so we are back to having some wraiths against us. We won't have to trip up and say Barrow-Wights.
Wraiths on horses as well.
Wraiths on horses,
which would be very exciting.
Very scary. We will be swapping as well.
Yeah.
So you'll be back playing the Fellowship, and I will be back playing the Wraiths, which is nice to see. We do have a rest point video coming up next, so that should be out very soon after this one. So you can have a look at that. You can have a look at some of the hobby and the planning we did for this section of the Quest of the Ringbearer. I think that's it. Anything from yourself, having survived or, played evil for your first chunk of mission campaign?
Well, I mean, the trees aren't really evil; they're just misunderstood.
Are they?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting. The Ringbearer, obviously, they got to strike a nice balance. You don't want, Frodo to die on the second mission, and then you're like, I guess we were going to play a campaign.
Yep.
But no.
Yeah, because
game says no.
You can play this. There's a small section in the quest book about playing this as with a community group, a gaming group, and you can have multiple people playing the same scenario and kind of average out the results, or multiple people playing different scenarios. But yeah, it would be a bit unfortunate if you all sort of got together, did a load of work to plan everything and got everything ready, and then whoever it is, you're playing mission 2 and you get Frodo killed, and then you roll a 1 and he actually dies in the campaign. Would be a bit unfortunate. I
mean, I feel that's a long-winded way of saying that for the most part, the early scenarios so far are mostly in Good's favour. I feel this was the first one that definitely probably could have gone either way.
I think it definitely. I think not. I didn't rescue it with my skill. I think I managed to prevent my incompetence losing the mission.
Yeah, and I mean with the victory bonus from the last game as well, that probably made a big difference.
That was probably a big difference.
You could have been calling for Bombadil for turns, and he might not have turned up because he is a fickle man.
He is a fickle man with his hat and his feather and his boots. But excellent scenario. I would heartily recommend it to all of you. I don't think we always would recommend a scenario, but I'd heartily recommend this one to you guys.
Yeah.
Try at home, even if you're not planning to play the whole quest campaign. Give this one a go. It's excellent fun. I think that's it. That's definitely enough from us. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share it, send it to a friend. Say, hey, look, I found this funny little video campaign. Watch along. It really help out and mean a lot to us. We're trying to put as much effort into this campaign as possible, build and make it look as amazing as possible, and be evocative as possible. So it will really mean a lot. Other than that, do you want to lead us out?
With what?
Say goodbye.
Cheerio.
Merry doll, derry doll, ring-a-ding-dillo, sandflies in the grass, bees around the willow. Now let the song begin, let us sing together, of sun, stars, moon and mist, rain and cloudy weather. Light on the budding leaf, dew on the feather, wind on the open hill, bells on the heather. Old Tom Bombadil is a merry fellow, bright blue his jacket is, and his boots are yellow. Reeds by the shady pool, lilies on the water, old Tom Bombadil and the river daughter.